King of Kentucky. In general, is this one worth hunting down? Let's find out today on the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. Let's roll. Welcome back to the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. My name is Scott. So today we're getting into King of Kentucky. This is going to be a 2019 release. Specifically, this is going to be barrel number 4. Have to first say thank you to Dan Ristow for sending today's sample for me to do a review of. He also has a YouTube channel called How Do You Whiskey, so make sure you head over there and check that out and subscribe while you're there. So what this is going to come in at 133 proof or 66.5% ABV. It is non-chill filtered. It is age stated as 15 years, and it is a single barrel. Very small runs on these. And today's review is going to be of the King of Kentucky in general. I'm going to assume or imply that a lot of these, in terms of the overall quality, are going to kind of apply to each individual batch. So even though this is specifically going to be for barrel number 4, this is going to be just in general. So hopefully this will apply to other bottlings as well. Mash bill specifically on this one is 79% corn, 11% rye, 10% malted barley, and I believe the MSRP on this is right around that $250 price point. So typically what I'll do with my reviews is we'll go through the appearance, nose it, taste it, and then discuss anything else really having to do with the whiskey itself. So again, with something that's high proof like this, again, like I say in other videos, let this thing open up. If you can let it sit out for several minutes, let some of the vapors burn off of it, get a little bit of oxygen to it. Generally speaking, it's going to really reward you when you go back to getting into whether you're nosing and or tasting it. So as you can see, color-wise, this is a really nice, rich, deep copper type of color. So fantastic color on this one. So, and again, as I move it around the glass, it's showing that it's very oily. It's sticking to the glass, a nice ring around that. The legs aren't running very quickly at all. Very, very coating on this one. So really, really going to be interested to see how this one tastes. But first, let's get into the nose on this one. Oh, so right away, this fantastic rye spice, this sweet, rich oak that's there. Fantastic, deep, dark fruit aspect to it. I'd say specifically with this one, a rich cherry note, like that dark cherry note. Still some corn that's there as well. Some cinnamon kind of comes out in this. And a rich, like milk chocolate nose on this. That just kind of that creaminess. It smells like it wants to be very creamy, but this, in terms of the chocolate, is more of that like rich milk chocolate type of nose. And I also get more of like a Coca-Cola type of nose on it as well. And sometimes I get this, and I've got this with other releases on things. I think specifically like a Stag Junior or even a George T. Stag, where you get this like rich cherry, maybe cherry Coca-Cola type of nose as well. And then also there's some smokiness to it that kind of has also some underlying like butterscotch type of note. So it's almost like a combo of like a smoky butterscotch type of nose. Like also like a toasted marshmallow on that. A little bit of leather that's there as well. Maybe even some sweet tobacco. A lot going on with this. I mean, it's a very, very complex and rich nose. So more importantly, let's see how this one tastes. And I'm hoping that the nose and palate match on this one. So let's get into this. Cheers. Wow. So first you get a little bit of heat. Again, 133 proof, you're going to get that. So take your time with it, first of all. I mean, wow, it's just incredibly complex and rich, like right away. So you get hit I would say, immediately with a little bit of that spice. There's a nice spice oak to it, but that rich, dark fruit, specifically like some of that cherry, and a good cherry, not an artificial cherry flavor at all. It's not cherry dominant. It's just a very rich, dark fruit. I would say you start to even get some of those chocolates start to kind of come out in this. Again, that great oak that's there, a fantastic like baking spice. And then some of the like underlying like creme brulee. Now this is kind of where some of that like rich vanilla, the caramels are starting to kind of come out in this. Up front, you got some more of the spice right away, some of the oak, the dark fruits, but now kind of coming in late, mid to the palate, you're starting to get some of that underlying sweetness there. That's for like the caramels, the vanillas, things like that. Oh boy, good. I just got a toffee note. That butterscotch comes out as well. I'm still getting this smokiness that's there, and I'm guessing that probably has to do with the fact that we're dealing with a 15-year-old, bourbon. So it's pulling out a little bit more of that oakiness, which at times will start to then kind of, bring out a little bit of that char that's there. So some of the smokiness that's on this, but it's not over oaked. You're just getting a little bit of a different profile just because of the kind of more aged bourbon that's there. Yeah, just the overall richness. To go out on a limb and say this is maybe one of the best bourbons I've ever had would not be an understatement. It's an absolutely fantastic, complex, rich bourbon. It's got so much going on that for anybody who enjoys a great bourbon, you will 100% enjoy this. Now, with that being said, there will be people who don't like something that has a little bit of kind of heavier oak. This does lean a little bit heavier on the oak with that kind of that smokiness that's there. But I think the underlying sweetness that's there, some of that cherry that's there, maybe even almost like a chocolate covered raisin that's there. It's very, very rich and intense. And I think that's where people who are used to sipping on higher proof aged bourbons will really appreciate this. That this is kind of on another level of bourbon. So again, if you can find this, 100% buy it. I know, again, the price point can be a little bit of an issue, but at the end of the day, if what you're looking for is rich, complex, super long finish, all of that, I think you'll really, really be impressed with this bourbon. For me, again, hands down, probably one of the best bourbons I've ever had, period. So let me go back to it. Finish wise, actually, I just got a little bit of a nutty aspect. The more I kind of talk, a little bit of nuttiness kind of came out in that. Again, some of that toffee, baking spice. The baking spice part of it is great. Just an absolutely fantastic bourbon whiskey. The complexity of it is, there's very few bourbons I've ever had that have been this complex. So I know I kind of continue going on about this one, but I've just got to make the point that what this is and the quality of this bourbon, there are not many, in my opinion, that are going to be able to really compete with this bourbon. I enjoy it that much. Finish-wise, long, butterscotch, that smokiness that's there. Great baking spice, fantastic oak that's there. Again, not over oaked, but there is oak. So don't assume that this is just going to be a big sweetness. There is some oak that's there, a little bit drying on it. Very creamy. Again, going back, it was very mouth coating all of that. So, I mean, hands down for me, it's definitely worth hunting down. If you're able to get this at around or at MSRP, do not hesitate buying this one at all. An absolutely fantastic bourbon whiskey. So hopefully, if you were looking for this, you know, and you were kind of on the hunt for the King of Kentucky, buy it, period. So with that being said, again, thank you so much to Dan Ristel or How Do You Whiskey. Again, check out his channel. Absolutely fantastic bourbon. So with that being said, so remember, like, subscribe, leave comments. I'm always interested to hear people's thoughts on, you know, the whiskeys that I'm reviewing. And more importantly with this, I'd love to hear, you know, your feedback if you appreciate this and get a lot of the same kind of tasting notes that I did. And if you think it's worth that $250 price point. So again, thank you so much for tuning into another one of my reviews. Greatly appreciate it. And remember, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers.